Now, what's happening with King Charles in the lead up to Christmas? There's always a little bit of attention on the royals about where they're going to be, family retreats, all the rest of it. What is he up to at the moment?
Well, I'll tell you one thing with Harry and Meghan, there is a possibility, and I wouldn't say necessarily that they definitely won't be invited for Christmas, because there is a possibility that the King may open the door to them and say, come over and spend Christmas with us. But the only reason that would happen is if William and Kate decide to spend Christmas with the Middletons, because I can't see the two brothers sitting across the dinner table waiting to sort of carve up the turkey together, because there might be a bit of a punch up rather than a carve up on Christmas Day, because their relationship is still pretty fractious. So I imagine it's still in the gutter. People talking to me the fact that William wants nothing more to do with his brother. The King is trying to get on with things. He's in through the first transitional year now. He's going to have a big 2024. There's going to be trips, obviously, to Canada, to hopefully to Africa, and hopefully I'll get to come down under with him to come and see you guys, because that is definitely long overdue for the King, and I think that he's obviously got to come and make an effort, hasn't he?
Yeah, look, I've talked about it before, and look, I'm not a Republican, but certainly when he was being crowned at his coronation, for Australia just to be referred to as "and the realms," for there not to have been even William and Kate as a way of trying to say, okay, if you're not into this king, well, then this is what's down the line. I'm surprised at the lack of urgency to reach out to places like Australia. Is there any reason why that you're hearing from the royal household that it's either too far, or they think that we're too far gone in terms of a place that wants to stick with it?
No, certainly I don't think that. And, you speak to anyone at the palace, they're very keen to try and get the King and Queen down there. I know that there was some potentially jostling to see who would go where over the first sort of 12 to 24 months of the King's reign. And this transitional year was very important. I think there was a lot of focus put on the UK, put onto the future of what the King's sort of core causes would be. And I suppose they didn't want to really shake the boat. Of course, there is the growing Republican movement, not just at home, but abroad as well. Maybe they didn't want to rock the boat in the first year, but there's definitely a lot of exuberance from the King and the team to come to Australia. I personally would have expected it in that first year. I was very surprised when it wasn't on the agenda for the first 12 months. But I think that if it goes on too long, then that sort of Republican movement, the Republican voice grows, and it will become a problem for the royals.
I just find it amazing that in all those ceremonies where they read out all of the connections and all the everything and the medal for this and the fact that all of these Commonwealth countries kind of off to one side, a little shout out every now and then. That's all we ask. The other side of the world. Also, Prince Andrew, he's not planning to do an interview anytime soon, but of course he did that terrible one at the height of things a few years ago, and now some dramatisations, some dramas are going to bring it all back to light.
If you hadn't had enough of the bombshell that had gone off after the BBC Newsnight interview, where it's going to be repeated, and well might he be watching it behind the sofa and sort of behind his eyes, because this is going to be very uncomfortable viewing for not only him but the rest of the royal family. As I say, drudging this up once again, that incredible interview by BBC Newsnight, Emily Maitlis, and it's going to be dramatised not once but twice. Netflix and Amazon vying for the main spots. We've got Emily Maitlis played by Gillian Anderson and Ruth Wilson. It's going to be two sort of big blockbusters going head to head, and I think that when we revisit it, we still can't believe how incredible that was. I mean, it sent shockwaves through the royal family. We're talking about it years later, led to that incredible multi-million-pound payoff from Prince Andrew to his sex abuse accuser, so he didn't have to face her in court, and of course has led to his complete exile from the royal family. And I still think he's the only person in the world who believes he's still got a role to play within the royal family and within royal life. But this might just be one of the other final nails in the coffin for Prince Andrew when everyone gets to see these two dramatisations.
And geez, I tell you what, isn't it extraordinary that they've been able to find not one but two actors who don't sweat?
Well, it's incredible, isn't it? I mean, when you look at the rosters, surely there wouldn't have been too many, but fair play to the casting directors, I suppose.
Yeah. Imagine the bar. Okay, do you look like him? Do you sound like him now? do you sweat? Russell, thank you very much. Look forward to reading your stuff in the Mirror. Good on you, mate.
My pleasure. Cheers, Paul.